round of applause. Thank you. First of all, thank you. Let me welcome the Global Center for Journalism and Democracy, Kelly Arena, who was my partner during 9/11. She was working very closely on the FBI side of it. The other journalists who are in, another former colleague, Bill Dorman, is here. All of our partners who have made this possible, FNF. Thank you, Justin. Julius, there's so many other partners who are here. I cannot see you all, but I want to say thank you. Let me start with something we haven't really talked about yet. This is our third year doing this, and in our third year, first year, we talked about social media. Right? Everyone here, if you have a phone, please use the hashtag 2030now. The second year, we decided to go beyond inspiration and move to action. That's when we introduced Project Agos. Now, let me tell you about you, the crowd. That sounds like a good and a bad thing. Let's look at the model now. We still think of the world as linear. There's a producer, there's a consumer, but it's moved beyond that. Two models beyond that, and let's look at them. We're familiar with this, right? The social universe, we're all connected on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter. So this is kind of interesting. We're connected, we engage. We did that. What about this? This is the next universe. What are the things that happen in this universe? Well, it's a business, right? So instead of linear, now you have things like Uber, right? Where the car people, or Lyft in San Francisco, where normal people who own cars are now actually competing with taxis. Airbnb, who's the hotel? Who is the consumer? Who owns the hotel and produces the service? And who actually rents out their homes and rents the rooms in those? So you can see that it's now a bit more circular. You guys are producing content right now, right? So there's an alternate business model. There's a business cause and motive. There's innovation for sure. There is a monetary outcome, but I want to show you the social good. There is a social good outcome, and it's pretty amazing. Crowdsourcing is what we're talking about, and crowdsourcing is happening in many different ways. Law enforcement is using it, the Boston bombing. Crowdsourcing leads to big data. What is crowdsourcing? All of us just taking one small step. Each of us in this room, there are about 200 of us here, we tweet once, we become bigger, better, faster than every single one of us. It is a world of collaboration. In the Boston bombing, the FBI used the crowd. They didn't have cameras everywhere, but the crowd did. What about this? This is another example of crowdsourcing, right? A study, crowdsourced stock opinions beat analysts and news. That the crowd is smarter than the specialists. Amazon.com was started with professional reviewers. Now they got rid of the professional reviewers, right? It's the crowd that reviews. Crowdsourced stock opinions beat the analysts and the news. There are certain conditions when that happens, but that's interesting. Seeking Alpha tells us that the crowd is smarter than one person. We crowdsourced, this is Tom Nod. They crowdsourced looking for the missing Malaysian Airlines plane. And then this is the one I like best. You can make big things happen by crowdfunding, right? In some ways, these events are crowdfunded that we're doing now, but technology and the crowd. Oculus Rift, if you're familiar with Oculus Rift, it's virtual gaming. It was started by a small group of people who went on Kickstarter to raise money. So they didn't have the money to make their idea a reality, so they raised more than $2.4 million. And then, that was in 2012, less than 2 years later, they were bought by Facebook for $2 billion. That's the crowd. This would never have happened without the crowd that made this a possibility. See the power of the crowd. Exciting, right? It's exciting. Here are the top industries that will be disrupted by the crowd. This is from a crowdsourcing summit that we did in Singapore earlier this year. Finance and banking, not-for-profits and causes. We will do more good together if you use the crowd. Technology and software, this we know. You'll hear from Microsoft later on. You'll hear from others who'll talk about technology. Art and design, right? If you're on freelancer.com or a bunch of other places that will change, that will crowdsource. And us, publishing, media, communications. That's incredible stuff for me. Let me tell you about the most fun thing when you start with nothing, which is really what we did with Rappler about 2.5 years ago. There was nothing. It was an idea. And we decided we're going to change journalism. My friend Kelly will talk to you about the evolution of journalism from another place. But for us here in Manila, you saw us evolve. And it started with something very simple. Our office was, we ripped down the walls because it is important to collaborate in this day and age, and that helped us. The studio is actually next to the managing editor's office. I mean, there are no walls. And you see Natasha talk to you about multimedia journalism. Before we even began, we decided we needed to change the workflows. This was something that we asked a group to build for us, just a case for the iPhone. And then we cobbled this together. Now you can get some of this stuff off the shelf. But in 2012, it was something we pulled together. She's holding her light. This is her little gear, and then in her left hand is her tripod. One person to do what 4 people used to do. And this is the part I like best. This is in our first few months. This photo was taken by Ces Drilon, right? These guys are our former camera, well, I was former ABS, but this is our cameraman from ABS-CBN. Do you see Ayi is doing her stand-up in front of her camera, which is an iPhone, and our cameramen are laughing at her. It's a bit of, there was a lot of that at the beginning when we started. The funny thing is, of course, she posted much faster than the video they were shooting on this very large camera that took hours to go from their tape, from their digital file on air. So that's part of the advantage of technology. We built a satellite broadcast van. Will cost you anywhere from $600,000 cheap if you're buying 6 or 7 of them. Can you imagine that? About $1 million if you're trying to bring it to the Philippines. This crazy Rappler builds this for $100,000. And I only tell you that because this can actually do live broadcasts. And in the process, it's an IP satellite van. It will wind up giving you broadband, which is like oxygen to this generation. It's oxygen to us, right? You can go without food, maybe water, but you need broadband. So what do we do with this? Well, we drove it to Tacloban when Haiyan happened, when Yolanda happened, and we parked it. It gave excess energy for people to charge their cell phone so that they can tell their loved ones they're okay, and it gave broadband over a certain area. It's cheaper, it's faster to stay connected. This is Rappler today. We're still very small. We started with 12 people. We're less than 100 people today. But I think the part I like best, this is too much me, but this is the part I like best. You can pull worlds together. My former network, CNN, spends a ton of money to do the broadcast satellite. But look at where we are. My report to CNN is on my laptop that costs free on broadband, transmits the report free on broadband, and you can pull it down on satellite. You see it all compressed. That's the shift in technology that we can utilize, and we have. And here's the last part. In all of this, Chai told you, the crowd has been with us. And most of the time, the crowd is amazing. The crowd is also very makulit. and they're great copy editors. Um, so, if we're even 5 minutes late for the newscast, I'll already get tweets saying, we're waiting. I'm like, okay, that never used to happen before with television. But this is what the crowd also did in less than a year and a half. Little Rappler with, maybe 20 people at that point, became the third top online news site in the Philippines. That is the crowd. And that is this generation. It's something that would have been unthinkable for me as a traditional broadcast journalist. On Alexa, it's publicly available. Sorry, why are you disappearing on me? So Alexa, it's publicly available. Number 1 in the Philippines is Facebook. Number 2 is Google. So this is the first. The Daily Inquirer is number 1 in terms of news. My old network is number 2, and Little Rappler's kicking in. And we're a little bit aghast. We actually hit number 2 at one point, and we celebrated. So you celebrate these small things. Here we go, Rappler. What's Rappler? We made it up, right? It didn't exist 2.5 years ago. But rap, a throwback to the 80s, because there are still 4 or 5 of us above 40 in Rappler. And then this is what we wanted to ripple. So the core is still there, professional journalism. And this is part of what you'll hear from the Global Center for Journalism and Democracy tomorrow, is how professional journalists are changing, but how the discipline remains the same. So the tone is different. It's a little bit younger. Some of the things you see on Rappler, I couldn't have thought I would write. I write things now. But here's the other part. You build technology into the DNA. Technology is critical, and you'll see it in the rest of this. And then you guys, you're as critical as the journalists. Why? Because this technology allows journalists to do more than just tell stories, because you act, and you can see it in our country. So again, this sounds so idealistic, but we're seeing it happen in the 2.5 years. Originally, when we set it up, we were saying, okay, we can actually all come together and help build our institutions bottom up. You're doing it. #MillionPeopleMarch. I mean, we have several partners here. BlogWatch. I know Jane is somewhere in this audience. People who are just pushing ahead to a better world, to imagine 2030 now better than where we are today. But here's where we are, and these are the technologies that we use, right? So we're here, that's content creation, social media, which is how we're all connected, but social media pushes engagement. When you engage, you have crowdsourcing, and you saw how we opened with crowdsourcing, so those are real-world effects. I'm going to show you more. But the crowdsourcing leads to big data. You've heard me talk about big data before, so I will leave that off the list today, maybe tomorrow. No, but crowdsourcing. So the easy crowdsourcing on Rappler, and I think you've seen this. Come crowdsourcing. Okay, the easy crowdsourcing is every story has a mood meter. You click how you feel, and then that vote is aggregated by the mood navigator, which is in the middle of the front page. Why a mood meter? Because my entire career, people have told me, journalists are not emotional. You should never be emotional. Yeah, journalists are people, and people are very emotional. In fact, the studies show that up to 80% of how people make decisions in their lives is not based on what they think, no matter how smart you are. It is based on how you feel. And the November 2013 Gallup poll actually showed that Filipinos are the most emotional people in the world. The least emotional is Singapore, right? So we have a mood meter. You click how you feel. The other reason is because you 20-somethings. You need to care about the news. So how are you going to care? Sometimes you don't care about the news. How will we ask you? We can't ask you. You're not going to read about Kashmir because someone asks you. You have to kind of find a way that makes you interested in it. And if the mood meter gets you interested, I'm so happy. The mood navigator is a way that so every single vote, the crowd sources the mood of the day. Every 24 hours, that mood changes. And you can see the top 10 stories and click through to that. Or if you want to really just be happy or inspired, click inspired or happy, and you will get the top 10 stories that are inspired and happy. Okay, crowdsourcing. So here's the last part. The crowdsourcing goes beyond the page. So how many people have been tweeting using hashtag 2030 now? Raise your hand. Hashtag 2030. Okay, so now we want to show you the community you've just built outside the page. This is a tool that we built, and we'll go to Russell, who is our chief data scientist. We call him our in-house geek. No, Russell moved to Manila a year ago to help us build this. This is our map, and I want to just show you who they are. So I know this guy. This guy is in New York. His name is Yangbo Du. Hi, Yangbo. And he apparently is more influential than all of us who are actually here in this room, even though he's in New York, right? So here's Yangbo. Who is Yangbo connected to? Who's this? PH+Social Good. PH+Social Good is also in New York. I am one of 5 global advisors. They've been tweeting us overnight. So overnight, they've been tweeting. The circles have to do with the power of each one. Eigenvector centrality is the scientific term, but this means that they ripple out a little bit more. This is interesting. Who's this? Oh, that's Rappler. Thank God you're there. So that's interesting. He's the most connected. I know him in real life through PH+Social Good, because this connected the two of us. And thank God, Rappler, you're there. Who's this? Oh, this is Rappler. This is me. This is me. Okay, oh, sorry. So there you go. That actually is real world connections, right? We were pulled together by PH+Social Good. Yangbo's most influential. We're connected first degree, second degree, third degree. Who's this? Oh, wow. SGS Tunisia, thank you for joining our community. And then I'm just interested to see who this is. Mashable. Mashable is running the Social Good Summit in New York City next week, right? So, although we're in this room in Manila, we gotta find some Pinoys. Can we look, Russell, so if this is Rappler, give me some Pinoys. Gerald. Gerald, are you in this room? We're in search of Gerald. Gerald is not in this room. Give me somebody in this room. Keep clicking. Wow, Romina is here. Is she not? Not yet. So Romina is outside. Who's a little bit larger? Let's try. In search of someone in this room. And Constantino, are you here? Okay, folks, this means you got to tweet more. You're not very powerful in this room yet. So this is based on social network theory. It is real life. And the idea there is that we spread ideas and emotions through 3 degrees. 3 degrees. So this is out of a book called Connected. It was published in 2007. You can pick it out. If I am feeling, and I'll use this because I remember this off the top of my head. If I'm feeling lonely, my friend, the first degree, has a 54% chance of feeling lonely because I do. My friend's friend, the second degree, has a 25% chance of feeling lonely because I do. And my friend's friend's friend, the third degree, has a 15% chance of feeling lonely because I do. Now imagine that when you spread anger, which spreads the fastest, or happiness, which is the other part that spreads fastest. Happy, inspired, and angry. Those are the emotions that spread fastest online. But that is how we spread. These social networks are there. Reach is a tool that will soon be available to you. Just run into Russ later on and say, hey, Russ, get that tool out now. No. But this, I hope, is something that will help us build communities better. Okay, so I'm coming up to the end. So coming out of this, that is our offline world, right? That you can see how connected we are to the rest of the world. let me just bring you to Project Agos, which is, so we've talked about crowdsourcing, now let's talk about disaster response. We introduced it last year. What is Agos? It really is this. It's a platform that combines top-down government action. So the government goes top-down, and where are we? We're at the bottom. Bottom-up civic engagement. We are very active on social media. We engage to help communities deal with climate change, adaptation, disaster risk reduction. That sounds jargonish. Secretary Sering will make climate change adaptation much more realistic for you. But here's the one last thing I want you to do, and I'll show you Project Agos based on this. Pull out your cell phone. Guys have more power than the guys in New York. Come on. The Philippines is the social media capital of the world. Well, that was in 2010. So please, let's reclaim some of it. Turn on your location services if you haven't, just for this. Compose a tweet. I don't know, you can say whatever you want, but this tweet will be automatically put in Agos, right? So include the hashtag. It's a test. Normally, if you were using Agos to report it, you would use hashtag RescuePH, which was started by our bloggers, right? So we've amplified on that. But use hashtag Agos 2014 because we're in between typhoons and someone might really think they need help. So tweet something, and when you tweet that, so what's the idea of Agos? There are 3 ways you can report needing help: on text, on the site, or on Twitter. Use hashtag RescuePH. When you do that, this will automatically map it, and it will connect it to the first responders who are there. And who are the first responders? The police, the military, the local government units. That's part of what the Agos team has been working on all year. Bottom up, top down, with the technology in between as a layer. Let's go to Project Agos now. This is the map. Okay, can you go? So this is already with the flooding turned on. Let's look at some of what, so you've been, if you're tweeting this is actually your tweet, and you're popping up as an info alert. Hard for me to see up close. So what it does is it will automatically push it. It'll map it. You can post a photo with it. And then when that happens, you can also put some layers on it. Like if it's flooding, can we pull down the flood? So just on the data part, you just go up to the data and you will see so these are all tweets. Can we? And then let's also say we added another layer there. What does the tweet say? This is Project Agos Mind Museum. It's hard for me to read it. It might just be the screen. So then you can also do things like, let's pull down the data and let's look at hospitals. Where are the hospitals if you need to go to the hospital? Oh my gosh, and dame. There are many. And you can find it. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Let's find the hospital. You can find your hospital there. Again, if you've used Google, Google does this. Then let's do one last thing, right? And you've seen this on Rappler. We use the joint, the JWTC, the typhoon warning, the path of the last storm. Can we look at Typhoon Glenda? What's the path of Typhoon Glenda? So we know this. As we're reporting here, you can do that. And then you can see as it moves out. This is Agos. This is something that the local government units, now the next few months is about training to use the tools. How do you train? Use it, try it. Because here's the last part that we're working on. There's something called artificial intelligence for disaster response. This is actually done with volunteers. And thank you to the MOVE volunteers. There's so many of you here. So the volunteers will check to make sure that the reports are accurate, and you can actually push it up. If you're a local government unit, you have a login that allows you to verify it. But you can do one other thing, which is actually, after the crowd, after the volunteers get tired, the algorithm, they're basically teaching the algorithm. It's called a machine learning classifier. The original code was developed by a man named Patrick Meyer, who worked on Ushahidi. He's actually based in Qatar. But the first laboratory for testing in the world is here in the Philippines. So we're building on that code. Here's the last part I want to show you, and my time is up. They're going to cut me off. You know, I have no authority in this organization. I'm going to leave you with a video of how it works and how the crowd made it happen. Because everything in this video is actually the crowd connected to bottom up. The video itself was shot by a man standing on his rooftop. This was 2013, a typhoon in 2013. And then you can see the way the platform works. Let's just roll the video. We lost it. So, great. This video was shot by a citizen journalist. And then the green are text. So the text message coming in. The blue is what you should be using. #RescuePH, right? Then when it's mapped, the first responder can actually respond right to you. Now I'll shut up. It's the power of the crowd. Real-time reporting, real-time response from the authorities. This is something technology enables us to do. This is not possible without you. It is an incredibly different time. Technology, social, and the crowd. Those are the three forces, I think, that will be incredible. Thank you.